I recently reviewed the Foals F3 offset bridge as part of my ongoing quest to review every single aftermarket offset bridge out there for Jazzmasters and Jaguars. It was easily one of the best bridges under £100 I've ever tried. And out of my huge collection of offset bridges, over 30 bridges now at this point, it outperformed some of the biggest boutique names out there. But the installation process is a little bit fiddly. I gave a brief overview of this during my review video, but some people have been finding it a little bit difficult and have been asking for a dedicated installation guide for the F3 bridge. So today we're doing exactly that. We're going to take a detailed look at how to install the F3 bridge on your guitar so that you can get the best out of your new bridge. Let's get into it. So to swap out your bridge to the F3, you're going to need a string winder. This isn't essential, but it will definitely make your life easier. And if you're not planning to swap the thimbles in your guitar for the thimbles that come with the bridge, that's just about it. There's not really anything else you're going to need. However, I would highly recommend swapping out the thimbles for the ones that come with the bridge because that's going to ensure the best possible performance, and it's part of the reason why I rate this bridge so highly. So if you do want to swap out the thimbles, you're also going to need either some sort of stud extractor bit and a drill. I personally don't own those tools, but it's the preferred method of Shelby Pollard from Black Bobbin Chicago and Eddie from Totally Wired Guitars. Or you're going to want a soldering iron, and then a variety of kind of soft prying tools like a guitar pick or whatever other kind of plastic prying devices you might have. If you're not too precious about the finish of your guitar, you can also use hard prying devices like a mini screwdriver or something like that. It just depends how precious you are about your guitar's finish. And if you have a Fender Japan or a Squier or any other guitar using import size parts, you're also going to need a mini file or a drill bit to slightly enlarge the roots for the thimbles on your guitar by just 0.5 millimeter each. If you're not sure whether you want to replace the thimbles on your guitar yet, you can always install the bridge with the stock thimbles that your guitar comes with and see how tight the fit is with those thimbles, and then replace afterwards if necessary. To remove your existing bridge, you're going to need to slacken the strings right off. Personally, I keep going until the windings around the tuner shaft start to become loose. This is going to give us the most flexibility. We've then got three options. If your guitar has split post tuners like mine and you don't want to risk scratching your guitar's finish, then you can pull the string straight out of the tuner and pull it down until it rests here at the tremolo. This will keep it out of the way, and it will also stop your strings getting tangled together while the strings are off your guitar. The beauty of vintage style split shaft tuners is that you can just take the strings on and off indefinitely in this way. Secondly, if your guitar doesn't have split post tuners, you can either just do the bridge swap when you're changing your strings anyway, or you can put a capo on at the first fret and then just unscrew the vibrato to move the strings out of the way. Or if you're like me and you're just not that precious about your guitar's finish back here and you're not really bothered about scratching it, then we can just splay the strings out and work with the strings still on. If you're replacing the thimbles, now is the time to get your extractor bit or your soldering iron out. If you want to know how to do the extractor bit method, I'm going to leave a link to Shelby's video in the description box below. It's very quick and easy doing it that way. The only thing to note is that it might gouge your thimbles, which the ones you're taking out, which if you're going to put them back in at a later date, may not be ideal. But if you're planning on never putting them back in, then that method will be perfect. For the soldering iron method, turn your iron on and place it into one of the thimbles. Leave it there for a few minutes to give the wood a chance to heat up and it expands, and the thimble is going to come out more easily. Then take your tiniest prying device and just start prying around the edge of the thimble, getting under the lip and just levering the thimble up a little bit. Keep going, and as you keep going around, enlarge your prying device and just keep going until there is enough of the thimble showing that you can pull it out with a pair of pliers. If you're using something bigger or harder like a screwdriver, then I'd recommend putting a piece of wood or something else on the guitar that you can pry against so that you're not pressing the screwdriver into your guitar's finish. Once you've got the first one out, then just repeat on the other side. To install the new thimbles, if your guitar already has US spec imperial size thimbles to begin with, which are 9.5mm, then all you have to do is just firmly press the new thimbles into the holes. But if your guitar is a Squier or a Japanese Fender, or any other guitar using metric style 9mm thimbles, then we're going to need to ever so slightly enlarge those thimble roots. Now you could do this by reverse drilling with a 9mm drill bit, but I don't have one of those. So what I like to do is take a little mini round file. Then what we're going to do is we're essentially just taking off 0.1mm from all 4 cardinal points in the thimble hole. It just takes a couple of minutes, and this method ensures a super snug fit between the thimbles and the body. There's no risk of overdoing it, just taking off a tiny bit at a time. Once your thimbles of choice are in the right place, it's then time to install the bridge itself. Now, if you just take the bridge and try to push it into the thimbles like you normally would with any other bridge, it is going to be literally impossible. And that's because the tolerances are so fine between the bridge legs and the thimbles, and it's such a tight fit that it won't fit in there without some adjustment. And that's what makes it such an excellent non-rocking bridge. There is no rocking in it whatsoever once it's installed. But to get it to fit, we are going to need to do some adjustments. So start off by undoing these locking bolts on the top of the bridge. You just need to undo them a quarter or a half of a turn to introduce some wobble into the legs. And this gives us just enough wiggle room to be able to lower the bridge into the thimbles. So place the bridge into the thimbles and then just place one thumb on each of those locking nuts and press down firmly and evenly with a moderate force until you get the bridge seated nicely all the way. Once it's down on both sides and we've checked that it's definitely seated properly, we can then tighten up those bolts on the top. The bridge will then be such a tight fit in the thimbles at this point that we can literally pick the guitar up by the bridge and the bridge won't come out of the thimbles. That's how insanely good a fit this bridge is in the thimbles. How many times have I said thimbles? Okay, so the final thing you're going to have to do to get the F3 working properly is to set the saddle heights or the saddle radius. Now the F3's intonation screws are quite high up on the back lip here, perhaps higher than on other bridges, and this means we're going to need to put a bit more saddle height on these saddles than we might do otherwise. But don't worry, this is actually a really good thing because it ensures we get a good amount of tension on each of these little grub screws, and that completely eliminates any buzzing or rattling or sinking or working their way loose that you might have encountered with other bridges. So to start with, adjust all of these grubs until the intonation screws here are either level or ideally just pointing ever so slightly upwards. From there, just get a radius gauge and give the saddles a rough radius to match your fretboard, whether that's 7 1/4, 9.5, 12 inches, etc. You can fine tune the exact radius later on once you've got the strings back on, but for now we just want to get it in the ballpark area. Your bridge is now in its optimal state for the best non-rocking performance with no buzzing, no rattling and no sinking components. Now just restring the guitar and tune it back up to pitch, and then you can set your action and intonation and fine tune the radius with an understring radius gauge just like you would with any other bridge. One final note is that the saddles are non-compensated, so they are in a straight line, but I managed to get all 6 of my strings intonated just fine on here without any special techniques or anything like that. Just adjust carefully to taste. There's no secret to it, just use a tuner and a little bit of patience and I'm sure you'll get yours tuned in just fine as well. If you've got any questions about the F3 bridge or the installation process that I haven't covered, then please drop those in the comment section down below and I'll get back to you in as much detail as you would like on those. Cool, well that's it for this installation guide. It's really quick and easy, but it does just take a couple of tweaks to get it perfect. So I hope this has been helpful. Until next time, take it easy, look after yourselves, and we'll see each other again soon.